Hey, this is Troy Erickson from copywriting.org. And today, for the first time in a while, I'm back with another awesome interview with a really interesting copywriter. So let me give you a little background here. His name is Eddie Huerta. And recently, he was introduced to me by somebody. And this guy was really interesting, to say the least. So his follow-up game is really strong because I'm busy and I suck at getting back to people. And every single day, he came back with like a super personalized, like Loom video, and he like pulled information that he found online about me and like sent these really crazy follow-ups. And it comes from his background as a setter. And now that he's moving into copywriting where he's like, found his true love, he wanted to talk today about like grabbing people's attention, personal branding, building authority for clients, and just like some interesting things you can do to grab attention because he grabbed my attention. So I wanted to introduce Eddie Huerta.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you, Troy, for having me here. What do you got for me today?
No problem, man. Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about your background. I know, it's setting, it's copywriting. It seems like you love a lot of things. Like, how did you get into all that?
Yeah, so it all started about 2 years ago. I was an outbound sales rep. That was my first role, my first position. And so I was actually one of the most consistent sales reps in that company, right? I was working for a logistics company at the time. And my CSO, because I was so consistent, he recommended that I get into copywriting and marketing because, that would set me up for life and that would be two very valuable skills to have for any business. So I studied marketing, studied copywriting, and then I co-founded a marketing agency with my CSO and some other colleagues. And, we did that for about a year and a half. And so, yeah, I got some sales experience and some copywriting experience, and I'm very, very thankful and grateful for learning those two skills.
Yeah, 100%. What was like the one, do you know the moment when you're like, okay, I need to get into copywriting? Was there like a specific thing that pushed you over the edge?
Well, I think one reason was, there's a lot of money to be made and there's like a huge need in businesses. And personally, my goal, my end game is to be a professional musician. And, musicians, if they want to be very successful, they need to operate and think like business owners. So I, I understood there was a certain point, I think it was like a year ago where it hit me, like it got to me, like learning copywriting and sales is going to be so useful. Not even just in music, it's going to be so useful in anything I want to do in life. Because, like sales is life, life is sales. You're always selling people, whether it's like going out to the new restaurant with your friends, asking someone out, to dinner, or going to the movie theaters or whatever it is. Everything is sales really. So, um, I just hit this point where it's like, I'm going to need to know this at one point or another. So why not just learn it right now and then be set for life?
Yeah, 100%. I like the correlation to music there because you do have to think like a business owner if you want to make it. And then likewise, you have to be different. You have to be weird to be a musician, right? And I have a signed Metallica set list right there behind me. And you mentioned that you're a fan, or like what kinds of music are you into? And like do you find it all like lyrics or anything like that that helped you with copy?
Well, as far as my favorite kinds of music, I listen to pretty much anything, but my favorites are rock, classical. I really like rock and classical. I like some blues too, but those would be like my main two. I love those genres of music. But as far as like how lyrics help me with copywriting and to go back and forth, it's like there's like this correlation between like writing music, like writing lyrics and writing copy. It's like you want to hook the reader or the listener in order for them to get through the entire song or the entire like article, whatever you've done. So there's like a good relationship between them. So that's another reason why I decided to get into copywriting because I felt like it would help me, like I said, with anything I want to pursue in life. So I'm very thankful I've been given the opportunity to actually learn how to do it.
Yeah, one thing that like really helped me with that I heard about music that's really true about writing in general is like most copy that I've written, especially early on, is like hyper specific. And since then I've found that the market, the attention span sometimes for these longer, like super specific pieces is a lot lower. So I had a hard time like going broad, and I was like, I don't know if I really believe that people read something that's like broad and open. And then I heard that musicians, they'll make their songs, like their lyrics, very broad. So, lots of people can relate because if it's too specific, that song's not going to, go viral. It's not going to end up on any charts. So I was like, oh, I guess that is true. It's helped me a lot in writing copy. So, yeah, thanks for sharing. Now you also mentioned that you wanted to talk a little bit about like being the go-to like copywriting authority in your field and talk about some of the like interesting things that you do to grab people's attention. And obviously I know what some of those are because you use them on me. I mentioned them when I introduced you, but like what are some of the other creative things that you do to grab people's attention, whether you're writing or you're talking to potential clients?
Honestly, as far as grabbing attention, you need to know what your audience thinks or what your avatar is. So I know you mentioned that when we first got introduced to each other, I kept on following up and creating like really good follow-ups. And reason I was able to do that is because I studied your content. You know, I follow you on your socials and I've taken your course, and so I pretty much more or less know your thoughts and what you're up to. And so that was very, very useful in helping me come up with really interesting follow-ups, especially that email. My favorite part was this one email I sent you so you could send to your email list. And that was all because I know who you are, I know what you're up to, and you're always posting updates. So that's one thing that I feel like a lot of copywriters should really focus on is really understanding their avatar. And I mean, that's just like the probably like the number one rule or one of the biggest rules in copywriting, just knowing your target audience because you want them to think like, oh, this guy knows what he's up to, or like this guy knows what I think, how I feel, and he really knows his stuff. And I think that's really important for us copywriters to focus on.
Yeah, as I've gone from a copywriter to a business owner, that's definitely a different perspective for me, right? So, most of the messages that I get are cold. There's no personalization. People are afraid to show their face. So, I'd say the biggest two things were the Loom video, because you're like, hey, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to show
Mhm.
them a real person. And for a lot of copywriters, that's scary, right? So, anybody who can just make a simple video, like it goes a long way. And then in the video and in the emails, I can tell that you actually did your research, right? It's not like a blanketed email. So I would say those are the two biggest things. It's like study, like copywriters know you got to research. But if you're going, you want to talk to a potential person or client, you have to research the person too, not just, whatever business you're writing for. So I think those are really, really two solid points. Now, as far as like studying copy itself, like obviously to get, quick and witty like you are with this and communicating with people, you have to be a good writer, right? Because I've found that copywriters tend to be pretty witty, especially if they, involve a little personality. So, what are some of the ways that you've gotten good at copywriting? You kind of learned some of these skills.
Well, I think primarily just taking courses and like coaching programs from other like top A-list copywriters and just surrounding yourself with others who have like that same ambition and goals. Like when I started that marketing agency a little over a year ago, the people I work with, we were all like in it to win it, you know. At first it was kind of a struggle because we didn't actually make that much in profit, but we had no option. So it's like if we wanted to make this work, we had to study and gain all like the skill set in order to actually be able to write really, really good copy. And we did that for months on end, and that really, really helped me personally. And I think another thing that helped me is just my passion for music because with songwriting you only have a few minutes in order to make something work out, right? You don't have like 30 minutes or 40 minutes to create like a giant VSL and see if you can sell someone, right? With the song, you have to do it within like the first like 30 seconds of like the intro of a song, or else nobody's gonna want to listen to it. So I feel like that also helped me like, okay, so I gotta make really good hooks and a really good lead in order for people to actually follow through the rest of what I made for them. So I feel like those two things were very, very useful for me. You guys or everyone might have their own way of learning a copy, but definitely like surrounding yourself with others who also want to be really good at their craft and just continuously like learn new material and always be open to new ideas because the copywriting market could shift a little, but the fundamentals are still there. So you always want to stay up to date.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny you say that because I was going to ask you about AI next, right? So there's a lot of, copywriting fundamentals that you and I have learned over the years. And those are still valuable, but with AI coming, a lot of the people who aren't creative can get replaced, right?
Hmm.
So you're clearly creative. So I want to get your opinion. How are you going to use AI and like what do you think is going to happen in general to the industry?
Well, to be honest, I don't use AI too much. I actually use it more for like images like Midjourney or like Leonardo Day AI. But in terms of like writing copy, I sometimes use it to like just give me ideas on certain topics I could write because um, you know, uh like ChatGPT could give you like false information, so you don't always want to go with it. But I feel like the reason why human copywriters, well, I know that human copywriters will always be better than like ChatGPT is because ChatGPT, a computer is only logical, right? But humans aren't just logical, they're also emotional, right? So it like AI misses that emotional aspect. And we all know that people buy not on logic, but on emotion. So that alone is like the one advantage that puts us way above AI and ChatGPT. So there's really nothing uh well, not much to worry about. Obviously, you don't want to like just think, oh, so I guess because I'm a human, I don't have to work on actually getting really good at copy. You really do because ChatGPT could also write really good copy, and all the like the beginner copywriters that they don't have much of a chance. But if you actually learn the right skills and actually learn to persuade and use emotions to your advantage, um, you're fine, really.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too because I recently started running ads for some of my best email templates. There's 100 of them for 27 bucks. And I figured that when I put this out, a really good upsell opportunity would be AI prompts. So you could take the templates and customize them. And so I spent this time making these AI prompts and like you said, I don't use it a ton for writing either. I use it for mainly idea generation. I generate some images and then mainly for like learning how to do things with different programs so I can just like do it faster. I use it for like data consumption and breakdown mostly. Um, but I noticed that when I put this upsell in there, like not that many people took it. So I think the general market, and again, the templates offers very broad. So like the broad marketing industry, they just they're not ready for AI yet. Like most people haven't really used it. They don't understand. They see AI prompts and they're like, what does that even mean? So there's still going to be this learning curve, and I think it'll take some time, several years, I think, until most people have at least used it. And at that point, it's like you still need a person because it's going to take a really long time for people to adapt and use this thing. And sure, some of the smart businesses, they'll use it, but there still needs to be a human operator to take the ideas and different things that it spits out and add emotion to them and make sure that you can like really think. Because somebody once told me computers are really smart, but they're really dumb because they can only take what you input. Um, so being able to take whatever it gives you and tweak it and customize it to exactly what you're doing, I think is the most valuable skill. Um, what are your thoughts on that? I know you kind of like email list management too, and the whole point of that is like taking copy and customizing it for a specific list or specific market. So, what are some ways that you think people can be successful by taking copy written by AI? Like, how can they tweak it to make it even better?
Yeah, well, like I said, I just feel like becoming a really, really good copywriter is probably like the biggest takeaway here. Um, because you also mentioned that you're not too fond of like ChatGPT and all that, and you also mentioned that computers, are only as I like to think of computers being only as smart as you are. They can be smart, they can also be dumb, but they can only like show their maximum capacity or like their full efficiency if you also know how to use one. So, ChatGPT is only a great tool if you actually know how to properly use it. I'm not that great at using it. I know some copywriters are like amazing with AI. I'm not one of them, but obviously, I have had the practice of using it before. And so I'm much better at using ChatGPT and AI now. But even then, if you're not that good of a copywriter, and other like A-listers like Daniel Strossel, he says that if you're just not a good copywriter, then you just really can't get much out of using AI in the first place. So I feel like, the only way you'll be able to really take advantage of AI is, being really good at copy or being really good at coming up with prompts for images. But even then, you probably need to know how to do copy properly too. So,
Last thing I'll say is when I started running my ads, I tested a few different creatives, and there was one. So the templates that I'm selling have helped me and my company generate over $100 million for our clients, just in general with email marketing, right?
mhm.
So I asked, and this took a while, but I prompted ChatGPT to give me an image of $100 million sitting on a pallet. And it took a while, it took a while, it took a while. And eventually it spit out this pretty good image of these pallets in a warehouse with all these stacks of bills sitting on top of them. And that image is absolutely crushing every other ad that I'm running right now. And I was about to not even use it. And everybody's asking, they're like, how did you make this image? Because I'll say in the first line too, this is an AI generated image of 109 da 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 million dollars. And so people they see the AI and they get excited, but when it comes to using it, they're like a little bit shy. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Hmm.
So Eddie, where can somebody find you if they're like, gosh, you know what? I really, really want some personality driven copy. Maybe I need somebody to like outreach for me. Maybe I just want some creative ideas from somebody who thinks outside the box. Where can they reach you?
Yeah, so I'm actually creating a page for that. It's still in the works, but it should be live within like the next week or so. But the domain is cancopyme.org, or not .org.com, sorry. Cancopyme.com. But I believe after this interview, you'll also like leave a link down below for others to view. So if anything changes, you can always click the link down below, the interview. Or you could also reach out to me on LinkedIn. No, I'm pretty active there. I like to post daily, marketing and like copywriting content. I haven't been doing a really good job of it in the past few days because these past few days I've been taking some time to like really map out and plan my strategy for 2024. So you'll be able to notice that when you go through my LinkedIn profile. But I got some carousel posts and some content there for you guys to check out as well. And I actually shared the interview in my socials as well. So I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can follow me there, or Instagram as well. My handle is E Huerta PAD, and I'm not on Twitter that much, but you can also follow me there. It's the same handle as Instagram.
Awesome. So Eddie Huerta on Twitter, or sorry, LinkedIn.
Yep,
And then of course there's the copywriting.org written interview.
yep,
There's this one that'll get posted, and then
hmm
can'tcopyme.com.
yep,
And yeah, there we have it. So Eddie, thanks so much for coming on and sharing some really fun insights. I appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep, thank you.